Welcome back, wannabes and creators, to another episode of The Business of Art, the podcast that demystifies business for artists. And today we're talking about goal setting, and specifically SMART goal setting. What's a SMART goal? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before I do, I want to wish you a pre-happy new year. This is the last episode that I'm going to record this year, even though there is one additional episode coming out on Thursday. This is the last one I'm recording for the year. So happy new year. If you listen to our last episode on cons, you know that I'm considering a format change for next year where I am just going to do one episode. It's going to be a banger episode, an amazing episode. It's either going to be an interview or a longer form discussion like we're having today. But it's becoming harder and harder for me to do 2 episodes a week. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about changing a format. If you have any thoughts, head on over to your email and email me at russell@wannabepress.com and let me know what you think about just doing 1 episode a week. And if you want to get yourself a belated Christmas present, head on over to thebusinessofart.us/volume1 and pick up all of our hard lessons, ranterludes, and Kickstarter mini-seasons completely commercial-free for just $20. We've got hosting fees coming up next week, and getting a few of these sales will definitely help us defray the cost of paying those hosting fees. I do this for the love of it and for the love of you guys, but any support is appreciated. So head on over to thebusinessofart.us/volume1 today. Get yourself something and help us pay for our hosting fees next week. So let's get into it. What are SMART goals and why should you set them? When I started setting real, tangible SMART goals in 2015, my career saw hockey stick exponential growth. Before then, I had a set of goals that I wanted to attain, but they were usually too easy or impossibly hard to achieve. Most importantly, there was no way to measure success, so I usually abandoned my goals before too long. Now that I use SMART goals to set realistic expectations, I've been able to hit almost all my goals in the past 2 years. So what are SMART goals? SMART is an acronym for goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Before I tell you my goals for 2017, let's talk about each part of a SMART goal and explain why they are so important to determining your success. For this example, let's assume your goal is to finish the first draft of a novel in 2017. We'll take each part of the SMART goal separately and break out why it's so important to make that goal happen. Specific. Most people don't put much thought into creating their goals. Their goals might be as simple as, I want to write more in 2017. This is a big problem because more is not very specific when it comes to goal setting. If you have no data from 2016, you have no idea what more even means or how you can accomplish writing more in 2017, nor can you motivate yourself to write more. However, if your goal is, I want to finish the first draft of a 70,000 word novel in 2017, that is a very specific goal. You can always look back at that goal and see whether you are moving towards or away from it. Measurable. The second part of a SMART goal is that the goal is measurable. We talked about this above, but as my friend Tyler James says, what you measure, you can manage. I would add to that by saying what you manage, you can attain. Going back to our example, you can measure the goal of completing a 70,000 word novel. That is actually a very measurable goal. You can make a plan for each step of the goal and know exactly how much you need to get done each month, each week, and each day to stay on track to accomplish your goal. Attainable. The third part of a SMART goal is that it is attainable. For me, this is the most important part of making a SMART goal, because if something isn't attainable, you become discouraged and give up on it. So let's take our original goal. Is it possible to finish a 70,000 word novel in a year? Well, of course it is. Many people have achieved this goal before. Many writers compete in NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month, which is a month dedicated to writing the first draft of a 50,000 word novel in just 30 days. So yes, finishing a 70,000 word novel is a very attainable goal. However, writing a 200,000 word novel might not be in the realm of possibility for your goal. That's why it's so important to make sure these goals are attainable. Realistic. The fourth part of a SMART goal is that it's realistic for you to achieve. While attainable deals with whether the goal is possible, realistic deals with whether you can accomplish your goal. What is realistic for you might not be realistic for somebody else. If my goal was to run a 100-mile ultramarathon this year, that would be unrealistic for me because I can't even run a mile without getting winded. Let's be fair, I can't even run a quarter of a mile without wanting to die. However, running a half marathon might be a good goal, depending on my fitness level. That doesn't mean I won't make running one of my goals this year. It just means that I need to be realistic with my goal based on what I can achieve. Going back to our goal, writing a 70,000 word novel is something most people can achieve in a year, as it's less than 200 words in a day, or about the size of a long Facebook post. Time-bound. The final part of a SMART goal is that it's time-bound. If you want to write a 70,000 word novel eventually, that isn't something that can be measured. However, if you set the goal of 1 year to do it, then you can work toward that goal. Does our goal fit? Let's analyze our own goal and see if it's a SMART goal. Is finishing the first draft of a 70,000 word novel in 2017 a specific goal? I would say so. Is it a measurable goal? For sure it's measurable. Is it attainable and realistic? Yes and yes. Many people have done it in the past, which means we can too. Is it time bound? Again, that's a yes because we've given ourselves a year to accomplish it. Therefore, it is a SMART goal and much easier to manage and measure than the standard, I want to write more next year, that becomes the goal of so many writers. A SMART goal can be used for anything though, not just writing. You can use it to lose weight. I want to lose 25 pounds this year by going to the gym 3 times a week and only eating 1 piece of candy a week. Or you can use it to establish a money goal. I want to save $300 a month by removing alcohol and eating out from my budget. SMART goals can be used to accomplish any task. So what are my SMART goals for 2017? Well, number 1, I want to launch 4 new titles. My first goal for this year is to publish 4 projects in 2017. They are my first anthology, Monsters and Other Very Scary Shit, my first nonfiction book, Sell Your Soul, How to Build Your Creative Business, my 5th novel, The Vessel, and the 2nd graphic novel I drew, How Not to Invade Earth. This past year, I published Katrina Hates the Dead, Gherkin Boy and the Dollar of Destiny, I Can't Stop Tooting a Love Story, My Father Didn't Kill Himself, and Spaceship Broken Needs Repairs. That was 5 books in 2016. So I know that setting a publishing goal of 4 books is attainable and realistic. However, my additional goal is to do a much better job with each launch than I did last year, where I often didn't give each launch the justice it deserved, especially online. And that goes to my next goal. Goal number 2, receive 100 new 5-star Amazon reviews for our books. My second goal is to exponentially increase the amount of Amazon 5-star reviews our books receive. I completely abandoned Amazon this year to my detriment. Our online sales are abysmal, and online sales are essential to the growth of Wannabe Press. We sell a lot of books at shows, and our goal is to transition those sales more online in the coming years. One way we do that is to set a goal to increase the reviews of our books. One of the reasons we flounder online is because we have very few reviews, especially compared to how many people buy our books. In 2017, I am committed to getting our books a total of 100 new reviews from fans of my work so that our online sales can rise to the level of our convention and Kickstarter sales. Goal number 3, sell 3,000 total book units with an average sale price of $26.50. My third goal is to increase the total number of book units sold by Wannabe Press. 3,000 might not seem like many units to set as a goal, but for us it would be game-changing. This year, we sold over 2,000 book units across 10 titles with a minimum sale of $10 and an average sale of $16.50. My goal for the next year is to increase the number of units sold to 3,000 and increase the average sale price to $26.50. The reason I don't want to go higher than 3,000 is because all of our books coming out in the next year have a minimum price of $20. And I would like to get our average sale price up to $26.50, which is $10 higher than it was this year. If we can accomplish those two things, our revenue will more than double. Goal number 4 is to increase our total mailing list to over 10,000 people with a 20% open rate. My 4th goal is really about increasing our mailing list exponentially. Currently, our mailing lists have a total subscriber base of 7,500 people across 10 lists. My goal is to increase that to over 10,000 people and increase our open rate from 13% to 20%. 20% is a lofty goal, but I think it is attainable with the new changes I've made to my mailing list. My 5th and final goal is to increase online sales to $2,000 a month, equivalent with convention and in-person sales from 2016. This is going to be a difficult one, but I cannot keep attending 40 plus shows a year forever. And the only way to make sure I can cut back my convention schedule is to make a goal to increase online sales. Right now, I make roughly 6 sales a month online with a total revenue of a whopping $18. This is going to take a lot of work and be my biggest mission in 2017. Once this goal is achieved, then I believe my business will be completely sustainable. These sales can include courses and books along with live seminars. So what do you think? Are those SMART goals? Are they specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound? I certainly think so. Whether you agree or disagree, send me an email at russell@wannabepress.com and let me know. And if you really like this show, head on over to thebusinessofart.us/iTunes to rate, review, and subscribe today. It's the best way for us to find new people and to make sure you don't miss any awesome content. And if you want to give me a New Year's present, then there's no better way than to get me something and you something by going over to thebusinessofart.us/volume1 and picking up 9 commercial-free hours of our first year making this show. It'll let you catch up, and most importantly, it won't have any of the commercials. That's 74 episodes, almost 9 hours of content. Every hard lesson, ranterlude, and Kickstarter mini-season we've done in our first year. And that's it, wannabes and creators. This is our second to last episode of the year, and the last one that's not an interview. I would love to hear your goals. I'd love to hear what you think about this show. So send an email to me at russell@wannabepress.com. And have a happy and a healthy new year. I'll talk to you then.